Hello everybody, John here. This is the Midnight Paint and Body channel. On this video, we're getting started on a brand new project. An AMC Hornet. So yes, something a little different for sure. Not a car you see every day. So, AMC Hornet, the little lesser known of the AMCs. Of course, you're all probably familiar with, the Gremlin and the Pacer and the Javelin, AMX. But the Hornet is one you don't see too often for sure. Gonna be honest, I don't know what year this one is. 74, I think. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have much knowledge on these, but very cool car. As you can see, customer has done a ton of work on it. So he's gotten to the point where obviously it needs body work. He has done some stripping, sandblasting. I think he stripped to prime the roof. So I mean, he's done what he's able to do. And he has done a lot. So, do a quick walk around. Now, the elephant in the room is this driver quarter panel. It is nasty. So, I don't think there's going to be much left of anything anywhere. Very thick body filler. Rusted through along the bottom. Now, did I mention this is an AMC Hornet? There's no parts for these cars, guys. Definitely not quarter panels. So, we'll come back to that. Now, this car is, of course, hatchback, so a little different again. As we get around to this side, this quarter panel, I think it's all packed full of filler as well, but it looks okay. We're not seeing anything too alarming. The doors look okay. As far as an old car goes, they don't look too bad. He has sandblasted frontage of this door, which has revealed a bunch of rust there, but that's no problem. Hood, I think he's already painted the inside and stuff. Unfortunately, I think this hood has been sandblasted, which is kind of a no-no on these big flat panels. So it's full of dips and oil cans, and yeah, like I can even make out the shape of the braces. So this hood needs a lot of work. So hopefully we can do some shrinking on it and bring it back. I see he's got the fenders all stripped. Seems to look okay. Not quite sure what's going on with these welds, but I guess we'll figure that out when we get to it. I think unfortunately that might... Okay, because I'm seeing rust holes. I have a funny feeling this has got metal just welded to the inside. Yeah, that's what it is. So, oh boy, one on the top too. So, that's gonna have to go. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut that out because that's just not gonna last. I mean, it's all nice and neat. It's nicely done. Like, don't get me wrong. But, yeah. Okay, so fenders don't look too bad. Man, like this one looks like it was solid. A little filler there, but nothing major at all. Sorry if you hear me sniffling away. I just came back from holidays. Got back yesterday. I've been off for about 10 days. And of course, I get sick while I'm away. Well, that's kind of the nature of traveling. Yeah, I think we got the same going on here, so we'll see what we can do with all that stuff. Now we'll move up to our business end here. So here's where the customer has done a ton of work. So this is an AMC 304. Looks beautiful. It sounds really good. It's open headers, but it sounds like a race car. I think it's got a big cam in it. So she definitely sounds healthy. And then the best part, that this car is a 4-speed. So, heck yeah. Being a stick shift guy, I believe muscle cars are meant to have a third pedal. So, that makes me happy. So, where are we gonna start? Now, right off, I doubt very much that this is going to be a done-in-one video car. I think that because it's going to be around for a while, we'll probably do a little bit here and there and make videos on it as we go. Unfortunately, I know it's cool to see this something like this in the beginning of a video and see a finished car in the end, but I don't think that's going to happen, guys. But I think, well, there's some teardown and stuff, door handles and bumpers. There's a little bit to take apart yet. But I think my first plan of attack going to be to grab some tools and let's strip this quarter panel. Get all this old filler out of it and just get an idea what we're working with, because this is going to be, I think, the nastiest part of this job. Oh, wow, that's thick. Woo! Here's one for the guys that say you can't put body filler over bare metal. This bare metal is still perfect under a crap load of body filler that's probably been on there for 40, 50 years, 30 years, 40 years, I don't know. But it's been there a long, long time. See, this quarter panel's had a whole bunch of damage, and now I would think a lot of that should be accessible from inside, but probably rather than pulling the interior panels and stuff, man, they just literally filled the dents with a lot of filler. So we'll be able to bring a lot of that back out, I'm sure. See over here, it has been worked. This is probably where they could reach it somewhat, but pretty archaic looking bodywork. So it probably done a long time ago. Whatever, it probably looked good when it was done. It probably looked good for a long time. So I'm gonna keep stripping, bring you guys back when I make a little more progress. Well, so there's our quarter panel mostly stripped. I just really wanted to know what I had to work with here. Now this quarter panel has been thundered, and for the most part, just filled. It had a ton of body filler in it. You can see there was a little bit of old school body work done here where they drilled a few holes to pull the dent out, which they didn't pull much of it out, down here as well. And you know, it's amazing. Like, I would never ever do something like that, but this has survived all these years. And like I kind of touched on, you know, guys say, oh, it'll rust if you don't put epoxy on before filler. It seems to be a new thing. But, you know, you look at something like this, yes, there's rust where the filler had cracked because it was so damn thick, but everywhere else, I'm just taking off these mountains of filler and the metal is clean underneath. But I'm wondering if this thing was rear-ended. That's my guess. It was probably hitting the back, and this whole quarter panel was buckled. So if you look up here, now you look at this bit here, I noticed this quarter panel is way higher than the hatch. I just figured that's probably an adjustment thing. This side, yeah, I mean, it's all kind of loose anyway. But this was built up, man, it had to be 3/4 of an inch with filler. I still haven't finished taking it out. And then like this whole back end, like, just look at how thick this is. This is just, man, unreal. But all of that aside, it's going to be nasty because we have to rebuild the bottom. We're definitely going to have to rebuild this entire lip, as I can guarantee by the time we sandblast this. Well, you can see it's all through here, and of course all down there. So because this quarter panel is unobtainium, I believe we're going to be rebuilding this thing, and it's going to be nasty, but it's what we got to do. So with that out of the way, I just wanted to see what was in there. I think now I'm just going to do a little tear down. I'm just going to get the rest of these doors pulled apart, get this back bumper out of the way, and then we'll continue stripping her down to metal and see what other fun surprises we're going to find on the old AMC. So I just found something really cool, guys. I just opened the door, was going to start pulling this apart. Now, if you're familiar with AMCs, you'll know this, but most people probably won't. Now, AMC did a series of Levi's editions, Jeeps and cars and all kinds of things, where they actually used Levi's jeans material as inserts in the interior and Levi's like buttons and rivets. And this car is a Levi's edition. So you can see here's our Levi's jeans buttons, Levi's jeans material. So it I would say these are probably not the original seats, because I believe they would have had the Levi's inserts, and the back seat would have had it as well. I don't think we have a back seat. So I don't see it anywhere else other than the door panels. Entirely possible too, it just had door panels from a Levi's edition, but I mean, they look like, yeah, I mean, the color matches the back, like this part here, so I would say that's what we have, and that's pretty neat. So, yeah, Google it, Levi's edition AMC. I always thought the Jeeps were super cool. Maybe I'll find a couple of pictures and see if I can put them up here for you guys. Anyway, back to teardown. So I just finished tearing down the driver's door, but just wanted to show you guys on the passenger door. Now, I did recognize that this was missing on that side, but see, this is part of the Levi's package. It's like a Levi's back pocket. I remember the Jeeps had these, so cool little feature for you guys who have never seen that before. I think this is the first one I've seen in person. I've been totally aware of them, just being a gearhead my whole life. I've seen plenty in pictures, but pretty neat stuff. So here's a little end of the day check-in, guys. So I've got this side mostly stripped. That rocker is thick body filler, so I've been working away on that a bit. This door is not too bad, but we're gonna have to put metal in there, and then I'm assuming these are all rust holes down here that were filled before. Or maybe they're just hammer marks, but I think it's going to need a piece all along the bottom as well. We'll see once I hit it with the sandblaster. Obviously, we know this quarter panel is nasty. This quarter panel so far not too bad at all. You can see it's had some holes drilled, or a dent pulled out there. It's had a piece scabbed in there, which is pretty ugly, but that's not a huge thing to cut out and make nice. I think we're going to be rusted through just a tiny bit above the wheel there. And this side is the same as the other side. This whole bottom at the seam is rusted through, so that's a little bit nasty, but it's just a tough spot to repair, but not the end of the world. And then this door, you know, it's got pinholes all just here. And then at the front, I think the bottom's okay. Oh yeah, but this rocker, unfortunately, this rocker on the side is kind of Swiss cheese, and it's pushed up hard here, so definitely needs some repair. Overall, I guess for what it is, it's not that bad, but it still is going to need a lot of surgery. So, I've had enough for today. I'll bring you guys back tomorrow, and we'll see what else we can get up to on this thing. Well, back in the blue Hornet. So I've been digging away at this thing, and every once in a while you work on a job and it didn't look that bad. This won't be a bad job. And then as you get into it, you go, what have I gotten myself into? Oh boy, this thing needs a lot of work. So this entire rocker panel was thick with body filler. So it's all been caved in. I mean, the doors are what they are, they're not bad. And the more I get into this quarter panel, and I just ground off this back part of this quarter. This was built up, had to be at least an inch with filler, and then the same up here. And then of course this was, I mean, like this quarter panel was just caved in, and that was filled with filler, so that would have been, God, that would have been an inch and a half, 2 inches of filler. This is crazy. So this thing desperately needs a quarter panel, but like I said before, unobtainium. So here's the thing. I mean, we rebuild this the best we can. Now it survived the last God knows how long with a massive amount of body filler. So I would say this was done in the 80s, and you can usually tell by the materials. You know, we had like the old White Lightning body filler, and then we've got lacquer putty and lacquer primer. So with all the lacquer stuff, you can tell this was done a long time ago. So it lasted a long time. It may just have to get rebuilt, this quarter panel anyway, with a little bit of sculpting, which, I mean, it isn't terrible, but it's not ideal. But anyways, where I'm at right now, I was just going to hopefully take this outside and just start some of the sandblasting. It's got a lot of blasting, but I just want to do kind of these areas, rockers and quarters. But he's got these really nice wheels and tires on the car, so I went out back and I dug out a couple of rollers. I think these will fit 4.5. Those are Unilug. They came off my old Trans Ams, so I believe they'll fit the 4.5-inch bolt pattern on the AMC. So I'm going to throw those on, clean up a bit, and hopefully roll this thing outside and just start some of the sandblasting. And actually, I won't get too far because I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of sand. Okay, see you in a bit. Well, and those are not going to work. They fit the car, but this thing actually has 1/2-inch wheel studs. And I'm a hoarder, and I've got wheel studs coming out my ears, but all my stuff is GM, so these are all 7/16. So, I'll have to figure out a plan B. I mean, I can cover those up really good when I sandblast, but I would rather just not have to worry about them. So, I'm gonna go keep digging around my junk and see if I can find something that'll fit on here. So, I've got the Hornet back in from sandblasting. So, I'll take you guys around for a closer look at what we found. Now, our driver's door, we knew about that. The rest is actually solid, so I'm happy about that. The driver's door is a piece of cake. Now, the rockers, now this entire rocker was really thick with filler. And as we get into it, so you can see it is holy pretty much everywhere. It has been spliced in by the look of it here. And then of course it's been all caved in back here, and it's had holes drilled for pulling, and it's all rusted. So it will need rockers. This is actually the good side. The other side's a lot worse. Again, unobtainium these parts. There is nothing available for these cars, but I've got some ideas for this rocker, or for these rockers. Now, cheap slip-on rocker panels for pickups. This one is for a Dodge truck, I believe, but I can get these crappy slip-on rockers for a GM truck. I thought I had a piece of one here, but I couldn't find it. But I think if I get those cheap slip-on, like 99 to 06 style GM, I bet you they're going to fit that shape almost perfect. So rather than being under the truck, they're going to be going up on the side of the car. And I think it'll work, so I'm going to look into that. Now, our driver's quarter panel is in really bad shape. Got a bunch of holes drilled here, and this is all caved in, rusted out there, rusted around the wheel opening, and this thing is just beat. Of course, really rusted at the back. It's been heavily worked through here, and it's still, it is what it is. It's in bad shape. I would rather not rebuild this quarter panel, but if it comes down to it, that's what we'll do, because that's our only option. I have reached out to Desert Valley Auto Parts in Arizona. I think they had a TV show a long time ago. They said they don't have anything. If any of you guys have any ideas for southern wrecking yards that deal in classic cars, let me know. Now, I mean, where I am in British Columbia, Canada, even if I found one of these things for parts somewhere, it's not going to be worth cutting a quarter panel off. I mean, if the car is that good, it's definitely not going to be worth cutting apart anyway. But it's super duper unlikely I would ever find rust-free parts. Or, it doesn't even have to be rust-free. Minimal rust would be okay, but it's just got to be better than this. But, like I said, if I got to rebuild it, we'll rebuild it. You know, it had some craziness going on back here. Like, this edge was built way up higher than the hatch with body filler. And the same back here, it had at least an inch of filler sticking out the back. So that quarter panel stuck out way past the hatch. I thought the hatch was just all out of alignment. Once you get rid of all that filler, it's actually better. But regardless, this thing is so beat. Our tail panel, again, because it's been hitting this corner, this is all nasty, but I can probably bring some of it back. And again, you can see how long ago this was done, because I mean, this was welded together with brass, all done in lacquer, so this is really old repairs. So, I mean, this was done when that was standard practice. I mean, that was, you know, was probably an okay repair back then, because that's what they had to work with. So you can see it's all brazed, but then once we get over here, we're good. This bottom panel is okay until we get over here. This corner is all rusted out, but that's not a real tough piece to make. This quarter panel, kind of same idea. It'll need a piece here. Obviously it's had an old repair, it just need a better one. It's got holes drilled up here and we're rusted through there. So again, I can make a piece for that. I'm not too worried about that one. And this one's rusted through at the bottom as well. Rocker, same thing, only a little worse on this side. Door, same thing, a little bit of rust holes, but not terrible. So, other than the driver's quarter panel, it's not that bad. So, I think what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to make this a short video. We'll call it a quick tear down and discovery, because I'm going to keep working on this for the day, but I've got another job coming in next week, so I probably won't be back on this for a week. So once I get back to work on it, I'll bring you guys back. And the other reason I want to end it here, because I'm hoping maybe one of you guys out there in YouTube land can help me find parts for this car. I mean, seriously, guys, if you can help me by sharing this video, or, you know, if you have any contacts in the AMC world, let me know. I would sure appreciate it. Yeah, I have a feeling I'll probably be rebuilding that quarter panel. It's not ideal, but it's what we have. And I mean, I can do it. It's just, it would be a nicer job if we can find better parts. So, as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you come back and check out the next one. We'll see you then.